So this is part 2 of our 6-part journey of our 7th month check-in since Jerry took his life.
There's lots of
The other component which we didn't discuss is come March we found out more, which we're not going to go into, but it was take 2 of grieving. I feel like it lit a new flame of sadness.
a whole other level.
So in this weekend together for our brother's daughter's graduation, we were all dysregulated in microcosms and different points throughout the weekend. As much as we had our backs, it's also like that feeling.
Well, and what can be kind of fun for us because a lot of us have tools is a weekend where it's like we had no tools. So we had tools and we used them, but as a whole, many of us just didn't feel settled for the whole weekend.
Sure.
And there was nothing that I could do that would change that.
Sure.
Yeah. So we had that first, was it the first morning we got up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first morning we got up, I told you in the last episode I got up early to take a little care of myself, which didn't happen. Which I mean this not in a Minnesota way. Oh, it's fine. It was not about me that weekend, so I had to suck.
Did you even get a nice coffee?
No, I didn't get. We didn't stop. Right. I mean, So my partner comes downstairs and like I'm not gonna presuppose his experience, but like anyone that knows me at all, I wasn't like in my normal mode.
Also, how many of us were in the house?
Lots.
20.
Right. We were all in go mode.
Huge farmhouse. My husband and I were in a cabin.
Right.
An 8-minute walk away.
Right.
Which we had a little Shangri-La.
Right. Not fair, but
Not
yeah,
fair.
good for you.
We traveled the farthest.
And he came down, and I'm way oversimplifying this because it's not about him. And essentially, I asked him something, and essentially the summary of the words he used were "calm down." That's not exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And in that minute, I mean, it's lucky that I'm not a murderer because he would be dead. I mean, I literally
It was you, me, our niece, and him in the room.
right. I literally went from 0 to a million miles in like a breath, not even a breath. And it's just like, so some of the beauty, and we'll keep talking about this because this spread into other things, is I don't care how much work I've done, I wasn't regulated to begin with. And then someone says something to me that is like my least fucking favorite thing on the planet, which he knows, and this is not about him, right? It was like I had no tools.
May I speak to it?
Maybe, depending on what you're going to say.
Well, I was going to say.
I mean, if you're on my side. No,
well,
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what he said. Well, I don't know what led to it. I don't remember your response. Those words he said. Was it calm down or something like that?
Yeah.
It was like I was so then I was also charged.
But I mean, because I don't think it was clear what you just said. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, just in case you didn't hear what she just said.
Yeah, it was
like Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing moment. And then our niece too, I could just see she was just like, and I just we both looked at each other like big eyes.
Well, and now that you say this, like to kind of reflect a little bit, because it's always about the learning, right? When I go there, and there are times I go there, and my brother and sister-in-law leave for the weekend, and I watch their 5 kids and mine 2 kids. And it sounds harder than it is. It's not.
And 96 animals.
And we have a blast. The kids know my energy. I'm very consistent. Oh, not so much last weekend. So I also think that was different for them to see me like that because I'm not normally like that at their house, right? Whereas my kids were like, that happens sometimes, right? So just being aware of that, and it was like, what the what? Yeah.
And you guys used your words, but you were still charged and heated. Like the energy was here.
Right. And it didn't get a chance to come down while she was down there.
Right. And so she left first.
Mm-hmm.
Then you did.
Yep.
And then everyone went about their thing, and I was like, may I speak to this as someone who's a woman and also grown up in this family and also yada yada yada. I was like, that is the nobody puts baby in a corner moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so it looks different for everyone, but for me and Chad, that's and it turns into mansplaining and Chadsplaining and all these things. So it's like we've learned over the 20 years there's like 5 steps before he knows, like, before he goes there.
Right,
He never goes there anymore.
right,
Because that is a huge jump,
sure, right,
verbally.
right.
He's like, I guess I know now. You know,
Yeah,
oh, we're still learning our language or something.
for sure. And then you had a conversation with Emma.
And then
upstairs.
and then I was up there anyway, and she was like, I'm sorry, it was just way too much energy, and I'm just not used to conversations like that. And, you know,
Well,
and I was like, yeah, it was nobody puts baby in the corner though. You know?
yeah,
Just-
well, and then for me, when I heard that it kind of set her aflame, it was her graduation. I didn't need to be
right.
jacking around with her shit, but I went upstairs and I said, I apologize, but also I'm not apologizing. I said, Ryan and I have a lovely relationship and we communicate great, and every once in a while it falls apart. And that's not, those words that he said are not acceptable to me. I said, so I'm apologizing because it's your special weekend, but I'm not apologizing for my response to it because we've talked about this and this is one of my triggering things. So it was a great learning for her because we came back to it a couple times. And I just, because we were talking about her boyfriend and I just said, having agreements with your partner and the more that you communicate, like, even though that felt gross, let's talk our way out of it and apologize.
Yeah.
Right. And if that's how I choose to respond, I can. I don't need to apologize for that, right?
Mhm.
I could tell you 37,000 million stories about why that fucking drives me insane.
Right.
Right. Okay. Did I then bring it down and apologize where I needed to and have good conversations? Yes. But I also don't want anyone.
Right.
Right.
And it didn't escalate into 12 years and right, like
You're
generational trauma.
I cannot handle all of it anymore.
Right? Like
Yeah.
we wrapped
Done.
that up into a cozy 10-minute segment
Yep. And we all moved on.
and learned.
Yep. Yeah. But so that the beauty of what we're talking about is being able to have conversations. I'm having my moment. I'm communicating with my partner. You then, because you care about my partner, talking with
Right.
him and just having a conversation to learn.
Right.
And then we can.
Right. Can you imagine if we all just like walked away and
Oh my
never
gosh!
talked about it again?
I'm not talking to you. I'm done. We're gonna ignore you all weekend, right? And instead, we get to use this as a learning moment for my niece and just having lovely conversations. And so, just really supporting each other. Thank you for that. Go team. But yeah, I mean, you're allowed to be sparky, which is dysregulated, and you can't. I don't care. I was saying before we started this episode, I think between the two of us, we have more tools than
Yeah.
than 100-mile radius up here combined, right? And I still couldn't.
Right. And also, thank you for letting us into your world, right? I mean, if we were to pretend to be something,
Oh, I'm fine. It's fine.
right?
I'm fine. It's fine.
I mean, that to be able to speak into each other's worlds from a place of kindness and love,
Right.
is profound versus shutting the door.
Right. Because certainly we had periods of time in our life where that would have happened.
We know how that feels.
Yeah. Unacceptable. I'm going to ignore you and like I want nothing to do.
Yeah, and it to navigate such a clear identification of what the issue was.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was him.
No.
It wasn't. It was just
Right.
those words
Right.
fucking suck.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for being with us.